The final burst of this winter storm is now underway. The last stretch bringing some sleet and freezing rain, making the roadways dangerous and increasing the threat of losing power. Taking a look at the road conditions across the Triad, some places are already seeing plow trucks hitting the streets. I know we're all relieved to be seeing that. School districts are making the call for tomorrow, and some are making decisions even beyond that. Winston-Salem, Forsyth County Schools and Rockingham County Schools are closed both tomorrow and Tuesday. Randolph County is closed tomorrow, and so is Davidson County Schools. Mount Airy City Schools will also be closed tomorrow. Lexington City and Asheboro City Schools will also be out tomorrow. Alamance Burlington announced they will be remote tomorrow, the only one in the Triad remote at this time. Meantime, Guilford County Schools is already out for a teacher workday, but there's no word if they will be going to class on Tuesday. Of course, we'll keep you posted. We'll also keep you updated on this growing list on air and online. The storm is sticking around through the evening with cold temperatures behind it. And when I say cold, I'm talking about extremely cold in the single digits. The big concerns right now, road conditions and power outages. Thanks for watching us on WFMY Plus. I'm Julie Luck. We have a lot to get to as we are still in the heart of this winter storm, nearing the end of it. Our meteorologists say the storm will be winding down maybe about 9 o'clock tonight, but the danger does not end there. Following the system, it will be dangerously, dangerously cold. Let's take a look at this. Drone video over Greensboro. This is from our drone Redbird 2, and look at how pretty the pictures are. It's almost like a winter wonderland, and that is Nixon Norman doing some snow angels, having some fun out there as well, and seeing some sledding and people still taking advantage of it. We have crews all across the Triad checking the conditions. We're covering Guilford, Alamance, and Forsyth counties and beyond. In Blowing Rock, firefighters did not let the icy conditions stop them from battling flames at a popular restaurant. This restaurant's been around for a long time. The city says the fire was in the basement at Bistro Roca and could not be put out from street level, so crews had to use a backhoe into the basement to put out the flames. No injuries have been reported. Let's get to our team coverage now. We're all across the Triad. We'll check in with our reporters in just a moment, but we have to start with our chief meteorologist, Tim Buckley, with more on this last gasp. Tim, how much freezing rain could we get? Sleet as well, right?
Yeah, so right now, Julie, it's kind of been seen as a mixed bag of both of those. So we have some sleet, some freezing rain mixed together, moving through the foothills, pushing into the Triad right now. It's just started to arrive for me here in Greensboro, and you might be hearing it on my microphone a little bit as we talk about the weather here. Some of that is bouncing and some of it is just wet. So like I said, it's a mixed bag. But with a temperature of 20 degrees, it is certainly going to leave a bit of a glaze on surfaces. We've been seeing a bit of a glazing up here of surfaces in just the last hour. This is going to add to that. So we could pick up another tenth to maybe as much as a quarter of an inch of ice in parts of the area. But I think we're going to be on the lower side, hopefully, if we can keep it more sleet. What I did want to show you in Winston-Salem, notice the visibility. It's really low. Just a couple of minutes ago, you could see the highway. You could see over toward the stadium over that way. Now you can't. And so that's indicating that heavier frozen precipitation right now, which now we're starting to see in Greensboro too. You mentioned the temperature. Take a look at that. 21 degrees, the dew point 19. So we're basically saturated at the moment. Super cold stuff. All of those roadways, of course, going to have a hard time keeping them clear when it's this type of temperature and more precipitation on the way. Burlington, you're still waiting on it. Believe it or not, and get this, this is the warmest we have been all day. The high temperature in Greensboro, 20 degrees. That is so cold for an afternoon, to be sure, and we're just barely getting a degree every now and again. Look at how busy the radar is now, though. Much of the afternoon it was very light. Now we're seeing heavier action starting to push our way. Kind of ignore the colors a little bit. The purple is meant to be sleet. The pink is meant to be freezing rain. The computer has a hard time analyzing exactly what's falling, but it is filled in. And that's the thing, is that between now and about 6 and 7 o'clock, we're going to see a good amount of precipitation, and it is going to make things more icy, putting more glaze on stuff and also a little layer of sleet too. So whatever's out there currently, it's going to get a little bit more icy, of course. We can track this all the way back to the Gulf. That's where the moisture is coming from. You might not realize, but this has been an epically just terrible ice storm for Mississippi. Nashville, Tennessee as well was just checking that. They have about 300,000 people without power. So the ice storm danger with this system was very, very real. It got worse for those areas. It got a little better for us because we've lucked out with how much cold air we've had and more sleet. There's the back edge of this system. So it's just starting to arrive in Asheville, finishing up. I would expect we have another 2 to 3 hours here, 2 to 3 hours, and then we can say goodbye to this. Our model puts the back edge of this by Winston-Salem around 7 o'clock this evening, and for Greensboro, closer to 8 and 9 o'clock is when you could be expected to start to dry up. Our model does forecast an extra about a tenth of an inch of freezing rain accumulating. That goes on the trees, it goes on the power lines. We're seeing some shininess to the trees right now. I do think, and this is kind of the headline, I do think that our power outage risk has gone way down compared to what we were thinking yesterday. We are in much better shape because think about how long throughout the day today we've been having sleet instead of freezing rain, and that's a good thing. Not willing to rule out any, but I am saying we're in much better shape than I thought we would be based on last night. So this batch is moving through. It'll be pushing out by about 7 to 8 o'clock. Your weather impacts here have gone down a bit when it comes to the ice and the power, but I will say the impacts to the travel, the damage is already done out there on the roadways. I mean, they're already iced up. You know that they'll have the interstates in very good order very quickly, but those side streets I expect are going to be an issue most of this week. Future wind gusts here heading into tomorrow. It'll be pretty breezy, gusting around 20 to 30 miles per hour, and this is bad stuff here. Our temperature is going way, way down. Not so bad tomorrow morning, but once we get into Tuesday morning, that's when we will have a wind chill. How about 1 below? That's what it's going to feel like in Greensboro for your early Tuesday. So we've got a lot of weather that's going to keep a lot of this frozen stuff around for a while longer. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast now. You'll notice daytime temperatures in the 30s, barely above freezing. Overnight lows way below freezing. So we've got a lot of cold air around, which is going to keep a lot of this iciness around for most of the week.
But hearing about the lower chance of widespread power outages, what a huge relief. Tim, thank you so much. The roads are one of the biggest concerns right now. Greensboro Police posted this picture of an 18-wheeler that slid off the road today. Officers are asking everyone, please stay home, so there will be less sights like this. At work, clearing the roadways. This is video from Burlington, and they're making some headway there with that slushiness out there. WFMY News 2's Bryce Parker has been in Alamance County the last couple of days and has an update on the road conditions right now.
We're here in downtown Graham right now. The snow has been coming down all night, but now it's kind of turning to freezing rain. I have my handy dandy News 2 snow meter. We got about ½ an inch of snow, if you can see, but everything else is probably going to start coming down as sleet or freezing rain or something of the sort. You're gonna have to check in with Tim Buckley on that. You see the road conditions. This is a main road right here downtown. These are starting to get paved off pretty well. It's still a little slush on the ground. However, on the side roads, they have not been hit yet because they're not priority. So please stay inside, please stay safe, and please stay warm.
Now let's take another look from a different perspective of the roadways. You can see a lot of orange, yellow, a little bit of red right now, but also some green. The yellow and the orange indicating some slowdowns. Keep in mind, you know, there is a lot of snow out there on the roadways, so it's best to keep it slow out there, and that's what people are doing. I know I was extremely slow coming into work today. I was driving 20 miles an hour. Yes, I was. But you know what? I'm proud of it. I don't like that tailgater behind me, though. Anyway, I digress. The crews, they are out plowing, but it will take some time to clear everything out, especially as this freezing rain is falling. Please, please have patience and understand that is a lot of roadway to cover. The city of Greensboro also has an interactive snow removal map. This is what it looks like. You can see a lot of red. That means the roads have not been treated or plowed. Keep in mind, again, crews in Greensboro cover thousands of miles to clear. So if you do need to head out, check the website to track the progress in Greensboro in real time. Let's continue our live team coverage now. WFMY News 2's Nixon Norman is in Greensboro. Kevin Kennedy is in Burlington. But let's start with Christina Dillon in Winston-Salem. Christina, how are the roads looking out right now?
Speaking of snow on the roadway, we certainly still have a lot. The plows have not come out at all. So as you can see, they've still got snow covering the roads. They said that because the brine and salt had already washed off by the time that this snow fell because of how cold the temperatures were, they chose to not replow or resalt at this time until temperatures get warmer. You can take a look at the overpass here. Same thing, hasn't been plowed. It has a bit more wear and tear or exposure, as you can see there, because people have been driving on it, but nonetheless still hasn't been plowed, still very snowy. And right now we are having freezing rain come down. Those little icy pellets, they're here. You might be able to see them kind of jumping off the structure right there, the overpass structure, kind of pelting us. And like I said, all day it's been off and on, heavy, not heavy, stuff falling, stuff not falling. We were downtown earlier, luckily, when nothing was falling, and people were enjoying themselves. They were down sledding, enjoying each other's company, walking in the snow that they don't get to see a lot. And they did say that all of them I talked to had walked there. They hadn't driven. They were people that lived in the area, lived locally downtown. They were making sure to enjoy the time that they had. They weren't dealing with this freezing rain that we are right now. It was clear at that time. And one couple even told me that they brought their dog down there and she was having a blast.
Oh, she loves it. Yeah. She was a little confused at first this morning, but got into it.
I wasn't expecting this much snow for sure. I was expecting a lot of ice and not this much snow that we could actually walk around in. So that was a pleasant surprise.
Well, here comes the ice right now. Earlier, there was a bit more snow, but if you can see it, it's hailing. Of course, I forgot my gloves. I'm gonna get them, run back inside and get them after this. But I also have my 2-meter stick right here that Bryce had, and I wanna show you guys what we have in Winston-Salem. So let's take a look. It's getting close to 2 inches right now, about 2 inches. We've been here all day. It started at less than an inch, then about an inch, now 2 inches. So whatever is falling here, it is sticking. Live in Winston-Salem, Christina Dillon, WFMY News 2.
Christina, thank you. And keep in mind the sleet that we've gotten. The woman who was walking her dog was saying that she wasn't expecting to see so much snow and sleet. That sleet today has been a good thing. That more sleet throughout the day has meant less freezing rain. So keep on sleeting, please. Come on down. Well, the roads are a concern, but we still need to keep an eye on power outages with the freezing rain falling. Significant widespread outages for days no longer seem to be a major threat. Here's a look at the Duke Energy outage map. There are some scattered outages in a few parts of the Piedmont right now. Most of them are actually in Forsyth County with about 300 homes and businesses in the dark. The most outages are in the North Carolina mountains. Well, here are some other areas that are also being impacted by this winter storm. This is a live look at Columbia, Tennessee, where they're seeing far worse conditions than us here in the Triad. Just look at the ice on the camera. There are over 1 million outages across the country. Tennessee actually makes up 1/3 of that number. So Tennessee got especially hit hard. We're going to head east now, continuing our team coverage. WFMY News 2's Kevin Kennedy is in Alamance County. Kevin Kennedy, sir, how you doing, buddy?
I was up early this morning around 9 o'clock or so walking around, and it was much colder than it is now. And it was also kind of I guess we were getting a little bit more of a sleet, or a kind of a heavy sleet, if you will. Right now, it doesn't feel like that rain that Tim's been talking about. It does feel like a sleet, but it certainly seems much lighter. And it's also a tale of 2 roadways as it relates to the interstate versus the side roads that we've been talking about all weekend long. These side streets are going to be the tricky parts, and I walked on them a little bit ago, and you can certainly see there is a layer of ice that are on these roadways, on these kind of perimeter or peripheral roadways, that's going to be difficult. And certainly as we get this freezing rain that's expected to come later on this evening, it's only going to get worse. If you're looking on the freeway now, I'm surprised, to be honest with you, there's that many people that are out on the roadways right now on the freeway. But certainly we've seen those plows go by on the roadways much more frequently. So they're clearing that off and they're kind of scraping that down. So it's going to be a little more difficult for that to pile up. So those roadways are going to get a lot clearer than some of these peripheral routes. Now, the other thing that we've been talking about for the past 24 hours or so is the electricity and the power outage. It's a good thing. It seems like we dodged a bit of a bullet from earlier predictions in regards to kind of what was going to take place with that freezing rain coming down and kind of weighing down those power lines. Let me go ahead and show you a power line that's just above us right now. I was looking at it just a little bit ago, and we're a ways away, so it's tough to kind of tell, but you can certainly see at least that there doesn't seem to be any weight coming down on that. The power line seems to be pretty good. Now, what I will show you though is this. We grabbed a stick, and look at this. I'm going to try to get close so Crosby can zoom in on it. And this is what we're seeing. So you can see that there is a little bit of coating on the branch right now. There may be some of that coating up on that power line. It just may be a little bit too high up for us to see. But certainly this is the concern. As this kind of freezing rain comes down, it'll start to build up a little bit more. As that starts to build up, that's the problem that we're going to be dealing with. The weight of that will then start to kind of drag those power lines down, and that's where we could see a problem. So let's hope that that freezing rain doesn't accumulate too much, and let's hope we don't get a lot of it over a short period of time. We're live in Alamance County. I'm Kevin Kennedy, WFMY News 2.
Kevin, crossing my fingers. I do want to point out that Duke Energy has 1,300 trucks lined up at several different locations across the Triad. One staging area in Winston-Salem, one in Greensboro, and one in Wilkesboro. And they are ready to respond where they need to go. So if there are outages, they're waiting and willing to respond. And so this is a good thing. They're sticking around to see what happens tonight. But this is what you're looking at right now. This is some video from Thomasville. Glad to see that truck with that plower out there. This is along Highway 109. Love seeing that site there. Ben, you're seeing a lot of sites on social media.
Yeah, including monitoring those Duke Energy crews you talked about. It's great that they're all lined up, ready to go, but there's a catch here with that, and I want to show you this outage over in Forsyth County to explain. Right now, this is really the only big outage in the Triad, and it's not even that big. There's about 270 customers without power out by Blues Lake, but when you click on it, it tells you that the reason that it's still there, that they haven't been able to take care of it even with all these crews ready, is because they have to wait for the storm to finish before those crews can go out. It's just too dangerous to send those bucket trucks up into the air while stuff is still falling down from the sky. So it's great that they're here. It will help if we do get widespread outages, but remember, they've got to wait for the storm to finish, which is only a couple more hours now, according to our meteorologist. Taking a look across our area, we do have substantially more outages out west. Around the Asheville area, there's about 15,000 power outages right now. We're waiting here to see that ice, like Kevin was talking about. Is that freezing rain and the ice going to build up on the power lines? There is not a magic number, but an awful number that we don't want to hit here. Duke Energy says if you get to ½ an inch of ice, that's when it becomes heavy enough to start bringing down those power lines. We're not close to that yet, and hopefully we won't get that, but you never know. It is still possible. You still need to be prepared. Make sure right now you are charging your phone. If you have a dishwasher that you haven't run yet, go ahead and do that. You don't want that smelling up your house if you're without power for a couple days. Also, go to the thermostat, crank it up a couple of extra degrees, because if the power does go out, you'll want as much heat to stick around for as long as possible. Right now, flights still having big problems across not only North Carolina and the country, but the Triad. Take a look at the latest from PTI. Canceled, 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 canceled. There's a delayed over here. We did finally get one flight out to Atlanta that took off, but that was really early this morning. It was supposed to take off at 6:45. They didn't take off until 3 o'clock today. So major problems at the airports, not just at PTI, but across the country. Also, lots of closures. Elon University saying that they're going to be closed tomorrow, but look how pretty the campus is. We are seeing lots of beautiful sites like that across the Triad, and Chad Silber has sites where he's at in Greensboro.
WFMY News 2's Chad Silber here, kind of enjoying a peaceful day outside so far. It's very quiet. You can hardly hear anything out here. Really, the biggest sound that's noticeable are the sleet pellets hitting everything in sight. And look at what it's doing to my vehicle here. Yours is probably a lot like this too. It's really just kind of solid ice. All of those sleet pellets and some of the freezing rain created just this layer on everything. Of course, you can brush off the snow, but it's going to take a while for this to melt. And obviously, that's the big concern over the next couple of days is with the cold temperatures our weather team has been forecasting, it could be a couple of days before all of that is melted. Look at what it's done to my camellias. These poor little guys didn't even have a chance after that storm hit. They're kind of pretty though when they've got some snow and ice on them. But so long, camellias. Stay safe out there. I hope you're doing well. Have a good rest of your weekend.
It is true, though. They are very pretty in the snow. Some areas of the Triad got maybe an inch, a little bit more, and a lot of families are enjoying the weather and it's picture perfect time, right? This is Caitlin Roberts from Gibsonville. This is a picture from her children enjoying the winter day. Well, kids are not the only ones having fun in the snow. So are our four-legged friends. Take a look at this video from Winston-Salem. Is the dog sledding? My eyesight's not very good. Oh, look at that, some family fun. I want to watch it till the end. They're not screaming or anything, so I'll scream with them. Yay! Good job, good job. Well, kids of all ages are having fun, including our own Nixon Norman live in Greensboro. Nixon, you're having a good time out there.
Yeah. Well, I'm not having as much of a good time as I was about 2 hours ago when I actually found myself at Greensboro College in downtown Greensboro, where I was hitting the slopes, if you can even call them that. But I took the time to go down a hill at Greensboro College, and here's some video of that right now that my photographer, WFMY News 2, Jay Capers, took of me just sliding down the hill. This is all taken from our Redbird drone, and it was just a blast. Now, granted, it was very cold outside. My gloves and all things got wet, but I was able to make it out alive. But now I just want to show you that we've actually ventured out of downtown Greensboro. We're here off Battleground Avenue, where we wanted to take a drive and just list out the amount of businesses that were closed, but we quickly realized that it'd actually be a much shorter list to tell you which businesses are open. And that's why we're standing here outside of Lawndale Drive-In, which is one of the oldest bars in Greensboro. And we had talked to the people inside, and they're just trying to get here and stay out of the elements and grab a drink and just have some fun time with some loved ones, some friends. We're going to show out here the Battleground Avenue itself. You can see there are very minimal people out, very minimal cars out. Two of the other places that are open is actually the IHOP across the street, and a little bit further down the road, kind of towards Pisgah Church Road, you actually have a Speedway that is open. But those are really the three businesses that we came across that happen to be open. Lawndale Drive-In right here, the IHOP across the road, and the Speedway down the road near Pisgah Church Road. Other than that, people are staying in, businesses are closed, people are off the road, and just like you heard Christina and Kevin Kennedy, we also are having things fall from the sky. I'm not going to say it's freezing rain. I'm going to say it's still sleet here in Greensboro from the way it's bouncing off my jacket and making that noise. It's those little snow pellets, if you will. But we're out here in Battleground Avenue, and we're just here to tell you that there's not much going on out there. So if you can stay inside, do so. Live in Greensboro, I'm Nixon Norman, WFMY News 2.
I'm glad people are heeding the warning, but you know, there are some people who are working. Some people and the emergency crews, you know, there are a lot of people, essential workers, who are working today. Nixon, you know, I don't know if you have been able to peek inside that bar or when you saw the IHOP. Would you say that there are people inside of those inside those restaurants, inside those businesses, or is it pretty empty too?
So we have not been inside IHOP. We actually might check it out after this, but we did go inside of the Lawndale Drive-In here. There is one bartender who seems to be kind of the owner of the place, so he's the main worker here. Now, the other people here, they are regulars, so obviously if he gets behind, they're going to be very patient with him. But it's a packed out bar in there. They don't necessarily want to be filmed, but they did invite us in. They chatted with us for a minute, and yeah, they're like, hey, we wanted to come out. They actually have some vegetable soup in the back that all of them are kind of nibbling on here and there just to kind of stay warm. But yeah, it is a small bar, but it's packed right now, yeah.
Some vegetable soup on this cold winter night. That sounds absolutely fabulous. Except you might have to get some of that to warm up. All right, thank you so much. And you have a fan behind you.